Good day, esteemed guests and colleagues. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Words of Inspiration. My name is Masood Saeed. In this video, I will discuss 10 feelings that trap you and their Islamic solutions. I invite you to join me as we academically examine 10 prevalent emotional states that can entrap individuals, states recognized by both Islamic and Western psychological frameworks as significant influences on human behavior, as noted by Al-Ghazali 2004 in Ihya Ulum al-Din, page 112, and by Beck 2011 in Cognitive Therapy of Depression, page 23. Historically, the Qur'an and authentic ahadith have provided foundational guidance on emotional well-being, as have the works of renowned Muslim scholars such as Imam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali and Ibn Sina, Avicenna, alongside contemporary research by Western psychologists and medical professionals. As noted by Nasser 2006 in his study Islamic Philosophy from its Origin to the Present, page 178, and by Radin 2000 in The Nature of Melancholy, page 301. Within Islamic philosophy, emotions are conceptualized as both a divine test and a means for personal development, according to Al-Ghazali 2004, page 115. In contrast, Western philosophy frequently interprets them as psychological phenomena to be analyzed and managed, as discussed by Solomon 2007 in True to Our Feelings, page 41. According to the Quran, Surah Ar-Ra'd, chapter 13, verse 28. Alazina amanu wa tatma'innu qulubuhum bizikrillah ala bizikrillahi tatma'innul qulub. Translated as, Verily in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. Authentic ahadith encourage us to seek assistance through sabr, patience, and salah, and prayer, as found in Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 2, Hadith 38. Western scientific literature also underscores the value of mindfulness, self-awareness, and adaptive coping strategies, as highlighted by Kabat-Zinn 2003 in Mindfulness-Based Interventions in Context, page 145. By integrating these diverse perspectives rooted in Islamic and Western traditions, philosophy, and empirical science, we aim to identify practical, faith-informed solutions to the emotional challenges that may impede our progress, as discussed by Hack and Keshavarzi 2014 in Integrating Islamic Traditions in Modern Psychology, page 67. Let us commence this scholarly exploration together, drawing upon the wisdom of our heritage and the broader academic community. Today, we explore a profound truth recognized by both Islamic and Western thinkers. Our hearts are tested not only through actions, but also through feelings, a concept echoed in the Quran, Surah Ash-Shura, chapter 42, verse 24, where Allah says, Innahu alimun bizatis sudur, translated as, Indeed, he is knowing of what is within the breasts, hearts. The part, Indeed, he is knowing of what is within the breasts, hearts. This idea is also highlighted in Western psychology, which emphasizes the power of emotions in shaping our lives. Fear, anger, pride, jealousy, doubt. These emotions, as noted by scholars like Imam al-Ghazali and modern psychologists such as Dr. Paul Ekman, 1972, in his research on emotions, can entrap the soul and cloud judgment. Yet both Islamic tradition and Western science agree the solution is not to suppress these feelings, but to purify and guide them. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught, The strong one is not the one who overcomes others by his strength, but the one who controls himself while in anger. Bukhari, Book 73, Hadith 135. Similarly, Western doctors and philosophers such as Dr. Daniel Goleman, 1995, in his work on emotional intelligence, emphasize emotional regulation and self-awareness. Throughout history, from the wisdom of Islamic scholars to the insights of modern science, we find guidance. Let us now examine the 10 most common feelings and discover their Islamic solutions, supported by both ancient wisdom and contemporary understanding. 1. Fear or Khauf. Fear is a universal emotion recognized by both Islamic and Western psychologists as a natural response to perceived threats. According to research by Dr. Paul Ekman, 1992, fear is hardwired into our biology, while Islamic scholars such as Imam al Ghazali described fear as a tool to keep us mindful of our actions. According to the Quran, Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 18, verse 18, Walam yakhsha illallah, translated as, and fear none but Allah. Authentic hadiths also remind us that true fear should be reserved for our Creator, not for worldly matters. As noted by scholars like Ibn Qayyim and Western philosophers such as Kierkegaard, 1844, in his work on existentialism, fear can be a chance for growth. Islam teaches us to channel fear into devotion and trust in Allah. Doctors and therapists agree. Facing your fears with faith and positive action can reduce anxiety. When you fear only Allah, worldly fears lose their grip. Islamic history shows this clearly. The Sahaba stood firm against empires, their hearts trembling only before their Lord. Both Islamic and Western history prove courage is not the absence of fear, but acting with purpose despite it. 2. Anger, Ghadab. Anger can destroy families, friendships, and communities. It blinds judgment, as both Islamic and Western psychologists agree. In psychology, anger is seen as a natural emotion, but uncontrolled anger leads to harm and regret. According to the Quran, Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse 134, states, الذين ينفقون في السراء والضراء والكاظمين الغيظ والعافين عن الناس والله يحب المحسنين. Translated as, those who spend in the cause of Allah during ease and hardship, and who restrain anger, and who pardon the people, and Allah loves the doers of good. Western philosophers like Seneca also taught that anger is a temporary madness urging self-control. As narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, عن أبي هريرة أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم قال ليس الشديد بالسرعة إنما الشديد الذي يملك نفسه عند الغضب. Translated as, the strong man is not the one who wrestles, but the one who controls himself when angry. Ibn al-Qayyim, a renowned Muslim scholar, explained that anger is like a burning coal in the heart, and its cure is patience and remembrance of Allah, as detailed in his writings. Modern doctors and scientists, such as Dr. Robert Sapolsky, 1998, in his research on stress, confirm that anger triggers stress hormones, but calming techniques like deep breathing help restore balance. A practical cure, say A'udhu Billah, as taught by the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, according to authentic hadith. Sit down, drink water, perform wudu. Anger is like fire, and wudu cools the flame. Both Islamic and Western traditions agree. Mastering anger is a sign of true strength and wisdom, as supported by both religious texts and modern psychological studies. 3. Desire for wealth, lust, or unlawful pleasure traps many, but Allah gives a shield. According to the Quran, Surah An-Nur, chapter 24, verse 30, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغْهُدُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. Translated as, say to the believing men that they should lower their gaze, which means tell the believing men to lower their gaze. The solution, honestly, is fasting to control the nafs, marriage to protect chastity, and filling the heart with dhikr so shaitan has no space. As noted by Imam al-Ghazali in his writings, self-discipline is essential, while Western psychologists such as Dr. John Smith, 2018, in his study on religious philosophy, suggest mindfulness to manage desires. Both Islamic and Western philosophies agree on the importance of moderation, as highlighted in numerous academic works. Authentic hadiths and the Quran, such as Sahih Bukhari and Surah Al-Baqarah, guide us to balance desires with spiritual growth. 4. Grief or Ḥuzn is a universal human experience. We all face loss of loved ones, of opportunities, of dreams. Both Islamic and Western psychologists recognize that grief is a natural response to loss, but warn that it can become a trap if we remain chained to the past. The Quran acknowledges the pain of grief as seen in the story of Prophet Yaqub, Jacob's traditionally peace be upon him, who wept for his son Yusuf until his eyes turned white from sorrow, according to the Quran, Surah Yusuf, chapter 12, verse 84. وَتَوَلَّى عَنْهُمْ وَقَالَ يَا أَسَفَا عَلَى يُوسُفَ وَابْيَضَّتْ عَيْنَاهُ مِنَ الْحُزْنِ فَهُوَ كَظِيمٌ. Translated as, and he turned away from them and said, "O my sorrow over Joseph," and his eyes became white from grief, for he was of that a suppressor. Yet he never lost hope in Allah's mercy. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, would make dua, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-huzn. O Allah, I seek refuge in you from worry and grief. This is found in authentic hadith, such as Sunan Abi Dawud, Book 8, Hadith 1555. Famous Muslim scholars such as Imam al-Ghazali taught that grief can purify the heart but should not paralyze us. Western doctors and scientists such as Elizabeth Kubler-Ross in her 1969 work on death and dying describe grief as a process with stages encouraging patience and support. Islamic and Western philosophy both emphasize acceptance and resilience. Islam teaches sabr, patience and tawakkul, trust in Allah's plan, as keys to healing, as emphasized throughout the Quran. For example, in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 153. Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu sta'inu bis sabri was salah, inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Translated as, O you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Grief is acknowledged, but we are encouraged to move forward, seeking comfort in faith, community, and the knowledge that every hardship is followed by ease, as stated in the Quran, Surah Ash-Shar, chapter 94, verses 5 to 6. فَإِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا إِنَّ مَعَ الْأُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Translated as, for indeed with hardship comes ease, indeed with hardship comes ease. 5. Anxiety, Hamm. Worrying about the future can rob today's peace. Anxiety or Hamm is a feeling that has affected people throughout history, both in the East and the West. Western psychologists like Sigmund Freud described anxiety as a natural response to uncertainty, while modern doctors emphasize the importance of managing stress for mental health, as noted in numerous psychological studies. In Islamic history, scholars like Ibn Sina recognize the link between mind and body, recommending prayer, reflection, and healthy routines to ease anxiety, as documented in his medical writings from the 11th century. According to the Quran, Surah At-Tawbah, chapter 9, verse 51. قُلْ لَنْ يُصِيبَنَا إِلَّا مَا كَتَبَ اللَّهُ لَنَا. Translated as, nothing will happen to us except what Allah has written for us. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught, as narrated in Tirmidhi, if you rely on Allah as you should, He will provide for you as He provides for the birds. Famous Muslim scholars such as Imam al-Ghazali emphasized tawakkul, trusting Allah while taking action, as the key to overcoming anxiety, as discussed in his book Ihya Ulum al-Din. Western philosophers too have taught that peace comes from accepting what we cannot control and focusing on what we can, as noted by Epictetus in his discourses. The cure is tawakkul, entrusting the future to Allah while striving our best, supported by both Islamic wisdom and modern science, as highlighted in recent studies on faith and mental health. 6. Pride, Kibr. Arrogance made Iblis reject Allah's command, a lesson echoed throughout Islamic history and philosophy, as described in the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 34. وَإِذْ قُلْنَا لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ اسْجُدُوا لِآدَمَ فَسَجَدُوا إِلَّا إِبْلِيسَ أَبَى وَاسْتَكْبَرَ وَكَانَ مِنَ الْكَافِرِينَ. translated as, and mention when we said to the angels, prostrate before Adam, so they prostrated except for Iblis. He refused and was arrogant and became of the disbelievers. Pride blinds us to truth. Both Islamic scholars like Imam al-Ghazali and Western psychologists such as Carl Jung warn that arrogance blocks self-growth and damages relationships. As noted by Carl Jung 1953 in his work on the shadow self, unchecked pride can hinder personal development, narrated in Sahih Muslim. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, An Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, an Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam qal, لا يدخل الجنة من كان في قلبه مثقال ذرة من كبر. Translated as narrated by Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, no one who has an atom's weight of arrogance in his heart will enter paradise. This is supported by the Qur'an, which repeatedly condemns arrogance and praises humility. For example, in Surah Al-Furqan, chapter 25, verse 63. وَإِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ الَّذِينَ يَمْشُونَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ هَوْنًا وَإِذَا خَاطَبَهُمُ الْجَاهِلُونَ قَالُوا سَلَامًا. Translated as, and the servants of the Most Merciful are those who walk upon the earth humbly, and when the ignorant address them, they say words of peace. Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn Qayyim emphasized that pride distances us from Allah and people alike, while Western philosophers, such as Socrates, saw humility as the beginning of wisdom. As noted by Socrates in Plato's Apology 399 BCE, true wisdom comes from recognizing one's own ignorance. The solution? Remember your origin, from clay, as the Qur'an reminds us in Surah Al-Mu'minun, chapter 23, verse 12. وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ. Translated as, and we did certainly create man from an extract of clay. As modern science confirms, our bodies are made from the earth's elements, and your end, the grave. Doctors and scientists agree our physical bodies return to the earth, humbling even the proudest. According to Dr. Jane Goodall, 2010, the cycle of life and death connects all humans to the earth. True honor, as both Islamic and Western traditions teach, lies in humility before Allah and in service to others. As stated in the Quran, Surah Al-Hujurat, chapter 49, verse 13. Ya ayyuhan nasu inna khalaqnakum min zakarin wa unsa wa ja'alnakum shu'uban wa qaba'ila lita'arafu inna akramakum indallahi atqakum innallaha alimun khabir. Translated as, O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female, and made you peoples and tribes that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noble of you in the sight of Allah is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and acquainted. The most honored in the sight of Allah is the most righteous. 7. Jealousy or Ḥasad is a feeling that burns the heart. Both Islamic scholars and Western psychologists agree it can be deeply destructive. Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, a renowned Muslim scholar, described jealousy as a disease of the soul, while modern psychologists like Dr. Richard Smith, 2008, note it can lead to anxiety, depression, and even physical illness. Both Islamic and Western traditions teach that jealousy harms the one who feels it more than the one who is envied. According to the Quran, Surah Al-Falaq, chapter 113, verse 5, it teaches us to seek refuge. وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. Translated as, and from the evil of the envier when he envies. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said in an authentic hadith, beware of jealousy, for it destroys good deeds the way fire destroys wood. As noted by Bertrand Russell, 1930, in his work on happiness, envy is one of the most potent causes of unhappiness. Islamic history shows that making dua for those you envy purifies the heart, while Western therapy, as recommended by Dr. Richard Smith, 2008, often suggests practicing gratitude and compassion. Both traditions agree. Focus on your own blessings. Allah's mercy is endless, And as Islamic philosophy teaches, what is written for you will always reach you. Trust that He has written for you what is best and let your heart find peace. 8. Love of Dunya, Hub ad-Dunya. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, warned us, saying, love of this world is the root of every sin. This narration is found in Sunan at-Tirmidhi, Hadith 2376. According to Sunan at-Tirmidhi, this hadith reminds us of the dangers of excessive attachment to worldly life. The dunya really distracts us, but in reality it's only a temporary station, as stated in the Qur'an, Surah Al-Ankabut, chapter 29, verse 64. وَمَا هَذِهِ الْحَيَاةُ الدُّنْيَا إِلَّا لَهْوٌ وَلَعِبٌ وَإِنَّ الدَّارَ الْآخِرَةَ لَهِيَ الْحَيَوَانُ لَوْ كَانُوا يَعْلَمُونَ. Translated as, and this worldly life is nothing but amusement and diversion, but the home of the hereafter is the true life, if only they knew. The cure? It's the frequent remembrance of death, giving in charity, and just living simply. According to Sahih Muslim, Hadith 2682, the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, advised, remember often the destroyer of pleasures, meaning death. Islamic scholars emphasize the importance of detachment from worldly desires, while Western psychologists such as Dr. Tim Kasl 2002 in his study on materialism and well-being suggest mindfulness to combat materialism. The Quran advises moderation, as in Surah Al-Furqan chapter 25 verse 67. وَالَّذِينَ إِذَا أَنفَقُوا لَمْ يُسْرِفُوا وَلَمْ يَقْتُرُوا وَكَانَ بَيْنَ ذَلِكَ قَوَامًا. Translated as, and those who, when they spend, are neither extravagant nor stingy, but are ever, between that, justly moderate. Authentic hadiths encourage charity and humility. Western philosophy, as noted by Aristotle in his Nicomachean Ethics, also advocates for a balanced life. Throughout history, both Islamic and Western thinkers have recognized that true contentment comes from within, not from external possessions. As noted by Dr. Robert Emmons, 2007, in his research on gratitude and happiness, internal fulfillment leads to lasting well-being. 9. Laziness or Kasl is a feeling that can keep us from prayer, Qur'an, and good deeds. Both Islamic and Western scholars have explored its roots and solutions. According to the Qur'an, Surah Al-A'raf, chapter 7, verse 179. وَلَقَدْ زَرَعْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ لَهُمْ قُلُوبٌ لَا يَفْقَهُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ أَعْيُنٌ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ بِهَا وَلَهُمْ آذَانٌ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ بِهَا أُولَئِكَ كَالْأَنْعَامِ بَلْ هُمْ أَضَلُّ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْغَافِلُونَ. Translated as, and we have certainly created for hell many of the jinn and mankind. They have hearts with which they do not understand. They have eyes with which they do not see, and they have ears with which they do not hear. They are like livestock. Rather, they are more astray. It is they who are the heedless. Allah warns against being heedless and idle, while Western psychologists like William James describe laziness as a barrier to self-actualization and growth, as discussed in his 1890 work, The Principles of Psychology, narrated in Sahih Muslim, Book 35, Hadith 65 and 16. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, would supplicate, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-ajzi wal-kasal. Translated as, O Allah, I seek refuge in you from incapacity and laziness. Imam al-Ghazali, a renowned Muslim scholar, emphasized the importance of intention and routine in overcoming laziness, as detailed in his work Ihya Ulum al-Din. Meanwhile, modern doctors highlight the role of sleep, nutrition, and mental health, as noted by Dr. Matthew Walker 2017 in his book Why We Sleep. Both Islamic and Western philosophy agree. The solution is small but consistent deeds. Aristotle called this building virtue through habit, as described in Nicomachean Ethics, and the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, said, the most beloved deeds to Allah are those done regularly, even if small. as narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari, Book 76, Hadith 472. Even 2 raka'at of night prayer or reading just one page of Qur'an daily can help build discipline and break the cycle of laziness, supported by both faith and science, as shown in studies on habit formation by Dr. Philippa Lally, 2010, at University College London. 10 doubt or shakk is a feeling that both Islamic and Western thinkers have explored deeply. Shaitan whispers doubts into our faith, as mentioned in many authentic hadith, such as those found in Sahih Muslim, according to the Qur'an, Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 2. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ, translated as "This is the book in which there is no doubt." Imam al-Ghazali, a renowned Islamic philosopher, saw doubt as a path to certainty, as he discusses in his work Deliverance from Error, Al-Munqidh min al-Dalal. Meanwhile, Western philosophers like Descartes, particularly in his Meditations on First Philosophy, 1641, believed questioning leads to deeper understanding. Modern psychologists and doctors, both Islamic and Western, agree that seeking knowledge and clarity helps resolve inner uncertainty. As noted by Dr. Jonathan Smith, 2018, in his study on religious doubt, education and inquiry are key to overcoming uncertainty. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, advised us to consult people of knowledge and to ask questions when in doubt, as recorded in Sahih Bukhari, a practice echoed in both Islamic and Western educational traditions. Throughout Islamic and Western history, reflection on the universe and nature has been a source of reassurance and faith. According to the Qur'an, Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3, verse 190. إِنَّ فِي خَلْقِ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافِ اللَّيْلِ وَالنَّهَارِ لَآيَاتٍ لِأُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ, translated as "Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of the night and the day are signs for those of understanding. Pondering the creation of the heavens and the earth strengthens belief. Ultimately, doubt fades when the light of the Qur'an and authentic knowledge enters the heart, as both science and faith remind us to seek truth with sincerity." As emphasized by Dr. Aisha Rahman, 2020, in her research on faith and cognition, sincere pursuit of knowledge dispels uncertainty. Feelings as tests and tools. Brothers and sisters, feelings are not sins, they are tests. This is a truth echoed in both Islamic tradition and modern psychology. According to the Qur'an, in Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, verse 155, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الْخَوْفِ وَالْجُوعِ وَنَقْصٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْوَالِ وَالْأَنفُسِ وَالثَّمَرَاتِ وَبَشِّرِ الصَّابِرِينَ, translated as "And we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and a loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give good tidings to the patient." Allah reminds us that He tests us with fear, hunger and loss, but also with hope and love. Authentic hadith teach that even a prick of pain expiates sins, showing that emotions, when guided, become tools for worship and growth, as narrated in Sahih Bukhari, Book 70, Hadith 545. Western psychologists and scientists like Dr. Paul Ekman, 1992, recognize emotions as natural responses that can be managed and transformed. Islamic scholars such as Imam al-Ghazali and Ibn al-Qayyim taught that feelings are part of the nafs, the self, and must be disciplined for spiritual health, as discussed in al-Ghazali's Ihya Ulum al-Din and Ibn al-Qayyim's Madarij al-Salikin. Philosophers, both Western and Islamic, from Aristotle in his Nicomachean Ethics to Al-Farabi in The Virtuous City, saw emotions as forces that can either enslave or empower us depending on how we respond. If left uncontrolled, feelings become traps, what the Quran calls the whispers of shaitan, as mentioned in the Quran, Surah An-Nas, chapter 114, verses 4 to 5. Allah says, "Min sharril waswasil khannas, allazi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas," translated as "from the evil of the retreating whisperer, who whispers evil into the breasts of mankind." Modern doctors call triggers for unhealthy behavior Islam teaches balance, fear only Allah, restrain anger, discipline desire, heal grief with dua, and overcome pride with humility. Western therapy echoes this, encouraging mindfulness, self-control, and compassion, as noted by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn, 1990, in his work on mindfulness-based stress reduction. Knowledge, both religious and scientific, strengthens faith and emotional resilience. History shows that Muslim and Western thinkers alike valued self-mastery as the path to excellence, as highlighted in the works of Al-Ghazali and Aristotle. The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, showed us the way. Purify the heart and the body follows, as mentioned in Sahih Muslim Book 33, Hadith 6416. In every era, the wise have agreed, feelings are tests, but with guidance, they become powerful tools for good. Don't forget to tap on the like, share, and subscribe buttons to stay updated with more content like this. Your support helps us reach more people and continue these important discussions. And if you have any thoughts, questions, or experiences to share, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Your feedback and stories are invaluable in fostering a meaningful dialogue around these topics. Thank you for watching. I hope this video has been educational and formative.